Kung unang basa mo, talagang napakahirap unawain eh. Patungkol po ito sa 10 virgins. So, basahin po natin at bigyan po natin ng linaw itong mga talata na ito. Sabi po rito, ang kaharian ng langit, so ito yung pinaka-topic ng Panginoong Jesucristo, pinaka-subject. It's all about the kingdom of God, kingdom of heaven. Sabi niya, ang kaharian ng langit ay maihahambing sa 10 birhen na kumuha ng kanilang mga ilawan at lumabas upang salubungin ng lalaking ikakasal. Ang 5 sa kanila ay hangal, okay? At ang 5 ay matatalino. Sapagkat nung kunin ng mga hangal ang kanilang mga ilawan, yung ilawan po nila, mga ano po ito malalakas yung apoy, yung torch. Hindi po ito yung maliliit na lampara. So, nang kunin nila yung kanilang ilawan, hindi sila nagdala ng langis. Yung verse 4 po, sabi dito, ngunit ang matatalino ay nagdala ng langis sa lalagyan na kasama ng kanilang mga ilawan. So, prepared sila. So, samantalang naantala pa ang lalaking ikakasal, ay inantok silang lahat at nakatulog. Subalit ng hating gabi na ay may sumigaw, narito na ang lalaki kakasal, lumabas kayo upang salubungin siya. Bumangon lahat ang mga berheng iyon at inaayos ang kanilang mga ilawan. At sinabi ng mga hangal sa matatalino, bigyan nyo kami ng inyong langis sapagkat namamatay na ang aming mga ilawan. Ngunit sumagot ang matatalino na nagsasabi, maaring hindi sapat para sa amin at para sa inyo, kaya pumunta kayo sa mga nagtitinda at bumili kayo ng para sa inyo. At habang pumupunta sila upang bumili, dumating ang lalaking ikakasal. Ang mga nakapaghanda ay pumasok kasama ng groom, si Jesus Christ po yan, sa piging ng kasalan at isinara ang pintuan. So there was a party, pumasok sila doon lahat kasama yung mga 5 virgins na matatalino na prepared sa pagdating ng Panginoong Jesucristo, ng groom, tapos sinara na yung pintuan. Pagkatapos ay dumating naman ang ibang mga berhen na nagsasabi, Panginoon, Panginoon. Kaya sure tayo na si Jesus Christ yun eh. Kasi sabi dito, Panginoon, Panginoon, pagbuksan mo kami. Ngunit sumagot siya at sinabi, katotohanang sinasabi ko sa inyo, hindi ko kayo nakikilala. Kaya maging handa kayo. So conclusion ng Panginoon, kaya maging handa kayo sapagkat hindi ninyo nalalaman ang araw o ang oras.
What would it mean to say you're judicially hardened? Now, the word judicial is an act of a judge, obviously, right? God is the judge, and therefore the judge sitting on his throne sees somebody who's closing their eyes, continuously rebelling against the things of God, growing calloused and hardened, his conscience has become seared, that God can remove the light from them. So I've got a little lamp here I've set up here in the hotel room, and I'll use this as my analogy. So I've got this lamp here. So the light comes to somebody. Right? Now, this person's not born without eyes. He has the eyes to see. And so he can look at the light, but let's say he looks at the light and he resists it. He doesn't want to see it. And so he closes his eyes. Okay? Well, God, so that's self-hardening. My closing my eyes, that's self-hardening. So what would God not do? That would be judicial hardening. Okay? God said, well, you're going to close your eyes to the light. I'm going to take the light away, which is exactly what we see in Acts chapter 28. When it says, they close their eyes, so therefore, otherwise they might see, understand, and turn, and I would heal them. Therefore, I take the message, I take the light from them, and I take it to the Gentiles, because they're going to listen. They'll see it. They're not ever seeing and never perceiving. They're not ever hearing and not understanding, because yes, they're immoral, yes, they're sinful, but they're not self-righteous and hardened in their rebellion against my voice. And so judicial hardening is God's removal of the light from somebody, cutting them off, as Romans 11 talks about, being cut off in your unbelief and given over to that unbelief. Again, that's not a condition you're born into, like the reprobate would be under Calvinism, but it is a condition you can become if you choose to reject the truth of God, if you choose freely, I should say, even, to reject the things of God. Because even Calvinists say, well, yeah, they're choosing to reject the things of God. But it's not a choice in any meaningful sense of the word, as far as I can tell, because it's not a choice that they're really making. It's a choice that God made for them to choose. In other words, God determined their determination.